it's Dr. Pavanka. Hopefully everybody's having a good week. I want to talk a little bit today about some dental home care options. Similar to with people, we do recommend brushing teeth daily for both dogs and cats, but that can be difficult and not every pet allows that. We do recommend daily just because, like with us, we get that plaque buildup that calcifies and becomes dental tartar or calculus. With that, the ones that we do have the most issue with is right on the cheek teeth, the premolars and molars, because we have a salivary duct opening there. So we have a lot of calcium-rich saliva there that goes ahead and will calcify that plaque on pretty quickly. So we do recommend different things like brushing the teeth. That's probably our gold standard, but there are other things you can do. If you do want to see the whole entire list, you can go online and there is a veterinary oral health council, kind of like we have a similar thing for humans as far as which toothbrush is approved, going back to Home Alone. But with that, there are a couple of things that I do really like. My dog Cortana is not the big food eater. She does not really like treats in general. I've had her for like 3-4 years now, and she is not one who really likes food. She's not food motivated. So finding something that worked for her was a little bit more tricky because she's not one who's really going to want to eat the food additive. She might drink the water additive, but she might drink like 3 doses in one sitting because she likes drinking water. And then with that does need to be reapplied and the water needs to be cleaned out more frequently with that. I also always worry that maybe they might decide they don't like the taste of the water additive and they might stop drinking it. So I always try to make sure I have unwater added clean water that doesn't have that in there, just to make sure that we don't have any issues with anybody in the house deciding that water's poisoned now. I've never had that happen. I've never heard of anybody having that happen. That's just how my paranoid brain works. So the one thing that's worked really well for me, and it is very well recommended from a lot of the people I've talked to, is Yummy Combs. This is one of the bags that I have for Cortana. It does have other things as far as dental treat effects, but really what it does is it has that, I don't know if you can see it all, that honeycomb shape that when they chew on it helps clean the teeth. I like to think of them as greenies that went through the waffle press because they kind of have a waffle shape. This is the large dog size. It goes based on weight. And this one looks like it maybe got a little bit smushed. I'll let you see Cortana eating hers in a little bit so you can kind of see how long it typically lasts her. And she has gotten better. If you saw the camera move, that is because Cortana is at my feet wanting it. And like I said, she's not treat motivated. She's the one who I have a hard time giving treats to. And she's currently watching where the treat is in my hand. With that, any dental treat you use is going to be pretty high calorie because they want them to want to eat it. So it is something that you need to be careful with your dogs who are heavier set, having problems with weight loss. Other ones I've had good luck with would be Tartar Shield. They do have a rawhide, and typically I'm against rawhides. Not only do we sometimes see preservatives used with rawhides that are harmful to dogs, but also we worry about them getting stuck in the gastrointestinal system. And the last thing I want to do is have your pet go ahead and eat some rawhide that's going to get stuck in the stomach, and then we're going to have to go in and do surgery because nobody really wants to deal with that. I will say that I did talk to one of Tartar Shield's reps, and I had them explain in detail why they count their product as safe. And basically the answer is with the rawhide from Tartar Shield, specifically their dental rawhide, they make sure that it kind of almost has like a particle board consistency where when it's wet long enough, so when it hits the stomach, all those pieces that may be chewed off that are bigger typically kind of turn into mush, so we don't have that foreign body concern. So I would say I've used those before in Cortana too. She does like those, but maybe not as much as the Yummy Combs. You can probably see that every time I forget and put my hand down, she moves and the camera moves a little bit. She's trying to figure out how she wins this game because usually she gets eye contact and she gets it. So she's about to probably jump on me. But this is the whole Yummy Comb. I either say that it looks like a hockey puck or it looks like a waffle. But the thing I like about it is my dogs in the past have used greenies. Greenies are great, but my dogs would swallow them whole after one bite. Whereas this, she doesn't seem to be able to do that as much. And then again, it's called Yummy Combs. kind of like a honeycomb, which I think is based on that shape. Now with our cats don't necessarily chew food as much as we like to think they do. Our dogs don't necessarily either. There are different diets. I know Hills has a pretty good diet, but I've recently started the Proden Plaque Off, and I went for a soft chew version for my cats because I thought they would be more treat motivated. The problem is my non-treat motivated dog here is the one who wants them, and the cats don't want anything to do with it. So I've been breaking it up and putting it on their food, because how this is supposed to work is it goes ahead and has that algae that helps keep the plaque off, or kelp, sorry. With that being kelp, this is something that you should use extreme caution and probably not use in pets who have thyroid conditions, just because that can throw that out of whack. So I would not recommend if your pets have thyroid problems going on the Plaque Off by Proden, but Proden is also a very good option. So those are the top 3 that I like. There are water additives. Like I said, I've used those in the past. I just get paranoid that my pets are going to stop drinking water because they decided it was poisoned or something. I've never had it happen, but that is always my concern. I'll see if I can put in a link for the Veterinary Oral Health Council so you have that information as far as different options, because that is by no means all of the options. There are so many more, and I would say that you definitely can kind of pick and choose what works for your dog. The big takeaways are, make sure that if you're using a dental treat, you're taking those calories out of what they get for the calories per day, especially if your dog has problems with weight gain. And then if you are using a water additive, just for my peace of mind, please make sure that they're drinking it and we're not stopping drinking water because it tastes funny maybe. I've never heard of one saying that they taste or have any issues, but that's my weird quirk. I always worry that they're gonna maybe decide they don't like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to show you a video now on Cortana actually eating her yummy comb, because she is very impatiently waiting at my feet for that.
Okay, Tana, are you sitting? Good girl. Do you get your treat? So we still try to fit all of it in our mouth in one go. Here we go. Yeah, there's not something to hold on to, huh, Tan? And typically, this is one of the things I asked this rep about, is typically we want to make sure that anything they're chewing on is going to be able to have an impression left by your fingernail, just because we don't want anything that's harder than the tooth, because that could break the tooth, which is where we don't recommend using bones, because those can cause blockages, but they can also break teeth. But typically this softens enough with saliva if they let it soften. As you can tell, Cortana's definitely salivating. She definitely loves these. I think she's getting faster with time, but and she's all done. And like with any dental treat, I would recommend making sure that you watch them while they're eating it. One, to make sure that they're chewing and it's actually doing what it should be doing, but also to make sure that they don't chew off a piece that's too big for them to really get down, because we don't want to have any blockages for the sake of dental health. Just got to make sure she's cleaned her paws and there's nothing left on her plate. Do let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything else that you'd like me to go over. But that is my quick and brief dental home care, I guess I shouldn't say brief because it's kind of long, dental home care episode.